I do divorces for people that, a woman walks out with $200-300 million. He was an analyst at Goldman Sachs who built a hedge fund and then sold it and then used his trading algorithm to build it up to $500 million. She was hot and slept with him for a while and then stopped and started sleeping with other people and playing tennis and having Botox, and she's going to get half. Like, that's fucking incredible. Like, do you know what he had to do to get that? And what she had to, I'll fuck that guy for $200 million. Are you kidding me? Like, that's insane. That's incredible.
With the manosphere becoming more and more mainstream, many men are getting more exposure to just how bad things can be when marriages fall apart. I was reading a Reddit post a few weeks ago by a man who is going through a divorce, and his soon-to-be ex-wife is going after half of the house that he bought before he even knew her, half of the business that he'd spent 15 years building before he met her, and it looks like she's going to get half. She cheated on him and is being rewarded for it. And not only does that seem like a bad deal to men, not only does that seem humiliating, but it's just unjust. Because in general, women marry men who make more money than they do. A man may be working really, really hard. He may have gone out of his way to try to provide a good life for this woman. And because he's earning on paper a lot of money, that then works against him in the divorce. And divorce is cited as the main reason for men over 40 committing suicide, because they get zeroed out. And it's not just the financial loss, it's also they can have often their children alienated against them. There is some financial incentive for a woman to try to make a man look like a bad partner so that she can get primary custody, so that she can get child support, and also if she has custody of the children, then it means that she needs to have the house, and the man still needs to pay for that. And yeah, a man can end up feeling like he's enslaved to a woman who betrayed him, or at least no longer loves him. And yeah, many women, it's not uncommon for women to use children as weapons. I'm in a support group of over 8,000 men who are going through or trying to leave abusive relationships. And yes, many of them have not seen their children in a very long time for reasons which do not need any evidence for the courts to enforce. So it doesn't look like a pretty picture for men. However, children do better in a home with both parents. And if you are going to try to stick together, it makes sense that there's some sort of commitment you should make. It makes sense that children should have a stable home to grow up in. So marriage or something like it is kind of needed. But maybe we can get away from this press the detonate button for cash and prizes mechanism that we have in the West. Firstly, I think it involves getting away from fantasy. I think you need to move away from this point of view where, oh, if I just meet the right person, then everything will automatically be great. No. All relationships require work. All relationships require some emotional work, some therapy, some looking at your inner demons before they even begin, because you need to be the sort of person who doesn't take your issues out on your partner. Also, you need to be someone who can actually talk about what really matters to you, about the things that scare you, about the things that irritate you, rather than just lashing out emotionally. In order to have these conversations, you really need to be with someone who is mature enough to have these conversations, and not someone who's going to throw a fit because you're even raising the issue of what might go wrong. Frankly, someone who can't imagine life working out just the way they want is probably not someone that you want to be with, because, well, life will not work out the way you expect it to. It'll always throw curveballs at you. But this doesn't mean you need to be hyper risk aware and try to eliminate every possible red flag before entering a relationship or getting married, because frankly, you can't. And life is going to throw things at you. You're going to see sides that you didn't see from your partner. And the thing about red flags is you can't eliminate them all. You can't look for perfection because it doesn't exist. And simply trying to play it so safe that nothing bad will ever happen is not a realistic scenario. It's not something that you can actually make work in life. The important thing is that you get with someone that you can communicate with, who doesn't shut down and not say anything when they're going through something. In general, you want to take away the financial incentive to break up. I think property that you had before the marriage should probably be sectioned off and assume that if you are to split up, that you keep those. And if one person is earning a lot more than the other person, maybe you don't go for a 50-50 split of assets at the end of the marriage. Maybe you take it in proportion to what you've earned. I mean, both men and women mostly work these days. There's something of a paradox I've found in facing my fears, and that is the more that I'm able to accept as a possibility my worst case scenarios, the less I fear them. And the less I fear them, the more in the moment and authentic I'm able to be. And so the less likely those things are to actually happen. But if they were to happen, I would know that it's not the end of the world. And I don't need to think that it's all catastrophic. And in that atmosphere of being in the moment, I might very well be able to forge the life and family that I want. Anyway, those are just my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments. And thanks very much for listening.